Hello, dividend executives. Welcome back. It is Monday, so you already know we are in the options account. We are taking a look at the absolute bloodbath of a market that we have seen as of late. We're trying to make some plays. We're trying to keep the income up. We're trying to keep the vibes up, but my gosh, we are just getting tank city in the market, and it is because we have ultimate uncertainty out there in the market. This week, as you guys know, it is tariff week, and what I mean by that is we have a lot of tariffs that were delayed until April 2nd, which is this Wednesday. And there's just a lot of uncertainty around it, right? We have Powell speaking on Friday. We have the 10% tariff in Canada on oil and gas that has been delayed that we're going to get an update on. We have many other updates. The 25% on all vehicles manufactured outside of the U.S., which is supposed to be going into effect on April 2nd. So we will see updates on those this week. And because of that, all the reciprocal tariffs that are planned, all the tariffs that are planned to go in effect this week, the market just doesn't know which way to go. And so what way is it going? Of course, it is going down with all the fear. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at what some of the major indexes are doing. If we look at QQQ, for example, over the last week is down $20 or 4.29%, which we own a nice chunk of in this portfolio. So, of course, we have seen a massive pullback over the last month, down $42 or 8.47%. So, it's a rough market to be in. QQQ's down. Let's look at SPY. For the last week, down about 2.62% or $14 a share. Over the last month, down 6.67% or about $40 a share. And then if we look at, for example, IWM, let's just look at the small caps. Over the last week, down 3.52%. Over the last month, down 7.2%. So negative. And of course, we had a killer pullback on Friday. If you look at the last week, we're down about $18,000. Before Friday, we were sitting at $125,000. We were having a nice week. And then the bottom fell out and everything pulled back. Bitcoin pulled back. I have a lot of proxies in here that pulled back. I have some leverage ETFs that pull back. So it is what it is. We could control. Hopefully you guys are keeping your heads up. This is a long game. This is an IRA. I can't touch this money for 40 years. So what happens today, I'm not worried about. What happens tomorrow, I'm not worried about. What happens next week, I'm not worried about. What happens even this year, I'm really not worried about, because I can't touch this money for another, 4, 5, 6, 7 presidents. So whatever Trump is doing now really is not going to have an impact on me when I can actually access this money. So we're at least in the 6-figure mark still. We're barely holding on to it by a thread, so I'm not sure how much longer we'll stay above $100,000. It really just depends. I need a pullback up in Bitcoin and in the indices in order to get back to the game. But for now, we are just controlling what we can control, and that is our options income. For the month of March, it looks like we are over a $3,000 income, which is down from the previous 2 months. We'll take a look at that in the spreadsheet. We went from over $5,000 in January to over $4,000 in February to now over $3,000 in March. But as you guys know, my goal is 2 to 4% on my money each and every single month. I control what I can control, and that is how much money I bring in through the door through selling cash secure puts and covered calls. And the way that the stocks fluctuate up and down, or ETFs fluctuate up and down, I just don't have any control over, so I don't focus on it too much. So we're down about 15% for the week. Excuse me. For the month, about 15%. Year to date, about 20%. 1 year, we're still up 13.62%. And all time, we're still up about 30%. But my gosh, we pulled down. We're still up 23,000 in the account. But at February 10th, we were up 62,000. So it has been a massive correction. I would be lying if it didn't hurt. Anytime you see your money go down, it hurts. But, it's just part of what it is. I've seen these moves plenty of times over the last, 15, 20 years I've been in the stock market. And the more money you have, the more pain you have, or the more gains you have, right? And so we're still in the green overall, which is nice to see, but we are quickly eating away at the green and all the hard work we put in. But I believe we'll get back to it. It's just going to take some time. We're just going to continue buying assets like we do. We're going to keep selling covered calls on our funds. We're going to collect that income, and we're going to buy more shares each and every single week. So we have about $8,431 worth of buying power. We actually don't have a lot of options on the table as of right now. just because the market is just so uncertain. Last week I sold a couple of NVDL puts on Wednesday at a 0.05 delta, and they were almost in the money. Of course, I shared that on X. And that's the kind of market we're in. Even 0.05 deltas with 2 days till expiration are going close to in the money. So everything's red today. The only thing that's green is a little bit of MSTX. I threw some covered call potentials out there at 35.5 for a $25 limit. It doesn't look like these are going to fill. I hope they do, but it doesn't look like they are. I'm actually going to replace this. And let's just see if we can get them to fill for $20. Still be $120 worth of income. Let's see if we can get some income coming in there. Everything else I'm kind of just sitting on. I don't want to sell covered calls when we're down so deep on a bunch of stocks. And so we're just kind of sit. That's one of the options we have on the table. This morning I went in and I sold 10 TSLL cash secured puts. If we look here, TSLL was down as low as $8.50 earlier today. So I ended up selling 10 puts. We have some dividends coming in there on the 1,000 shares. We're down about 28% on our shares as of right now, but I'm not too worried about that. So we sold the puts this morning, and let me just go down to the history right here. So we sold the puts for $360, and if we get assigned the shares, great. If we don't get assigned the shares, great. And then that being said, on TSLL as well, so we're up $140 on that play. We have some calls out there. We're up $890 on for the 11.5 for Friday. I think we are going to be A-okay on that one. We will see. We'd have to have a massive run on Tesla, about $2.50 on TSLL in order to get in the money there. So we're up on those two options. We're up on the Soxel calls. On the MSTX long put, we are down as of right now. About 4 days ago, market days ago, we were up on that. So it just is what it is. The market is just moving like crazy. You could see at one point this was worth 660. Now we're at 570. So we're just sitting on a bunch of shares right now, and we're not making a bunch of plays. One play I'm going to make is I'm going to continue buying QQQ like I do every single week. You guys know that we've been buying QQQ. So we bought 3 shares on March 10th. We bought another 2 shares on March 21st. And of course, we are ending the month by buying more shares. So we're going to come in here. We're going to buy 5 more shares. It's going to be $2,300. And I just want to keep placing my money here. I know that this one has been pulling back, and I'll probably be able to buy this for cheaper at a later date, but I don't really care. My price right now is $479.90. And we're now up to about 20% of the portfolio, or 38 shares in this. I want to get this to 100 shares. It's going to take a long road to get there. Obviously, it takes about $46,000 worth of capital. We only have about $17,000 worth of capital. But while the prices are down, I'm going to continue to buy. I'm going to buy every single week like I have been, regardless of the market being up, regardless of the market being down. I think QQQ long term, if you look at the max chart, up about 439%. It's a good investment. You can see here, we had some massive swings. Back in 2021, we got as high as 400. We dipped down to as low as 267. So right now we're at 463. Hopefully, you can see in the last 3 months, this ETF's down. Year to date, it's down. 1 month, it's down. Everything's down. We're only up over 1 year. QQQ is only up 4.15%. That's how much has been eroded out of the market. This was as high as 540 just about a month ago. So this has been a massive pullback on the indexes, and I'm just going to keep adding. So QQQ, we obviously bought some shares today, and we're just going to keep stacking those. I do want to jump into the spreadsheet just so we can take a look at where we're at. These are all the trades for the year if you need to see it, but I want to highlight the month, right? Because we need to focus on what we can focus on. We got to keep the vibes high, and we have to continue on doing what we're doing, right? So in January, $5,490 of option premium. February, $4,009. March, $3,166 with an average of $4,221, or $12,665 for 2025. If we look at that going forward, that means that we have, on average, that means we can get around $50,000 worth of options income if we were to continue this trajectory, obviously, right? About 12,000 and some change times 4, that puts us around $50,000. So in March, the first week we had 1415, second week 408. We had to roll some options from the 17th to the 21st, so minus 254 there, and then to the 24th to the 28th, 1237, and then today 360 with the TSLL put. So that's where we're sitting as of right now. Speaking of which, I got to come back here and I actually need to sell some calls as well. On Hood, we have an average cost of $45.96. We got assigned some new shares here, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sell some calls here. Let's sell it at the 46.5, and let's get 2 of them out there, and let's see if we can get them for 27. That'd be $54 worth of credit. I want to try to wheel and deal a couple hundred shares of Hood here, and let's see if we can get a fill there. So we'll just throw that out. If it gets filled, great. If it doesn't get filled, great. That way we have a couple of options on the table. Excuse me there. Kids keep getting me sick, and it's just a never-ending fight. So let's jump back into the spreadsheet. All right, so $3,166. That's 2.47% return on our money. Obviously, we started the month of March at 127,000. 2 market days ago, we were at 125,000. Now we're at 105,000. That's the volatility of the portfolio. And it is what it is. But if I can get that 2 to 4% a month, I'm happy. I'll continue collecting rent on my shares, and I'll keep stacking my shares because I just can't add any money as of right now until the account get backed. We're having an issue with the $250,000 worth of income. So between my wife and I, and so I think I'm gonna have to backdoor Roth it in a lump sum of $7,000. So we're still figuring that out. So no new cash can be injected into the portfolio. So we got to generate income off of our shares. And that's the only way we're going to be able to add shares to our share count. So 2% base case, we need about $34,000 worth of income this year. This month, the goal was $2,676. We beat that goal by about $489. And that's where we're sitting, right? So if you look here, this is where our income has come in. MSTX has been the biggest one, Connell the second, NVDL at 1,300, TSL at 1,141, and then Soxel as well, right? So those are looking good. When it comes to right here, so when it comes to the 2% goal, we beat it by $489. When it comes to the 3% goal, we are $968 short. So unfortunately, we were a little bit short when it comes to our goals on the 3% base case. But we did hit the 2% base case, and we're just going to keep pushing. Hopefully, April is better. Seasonality-wise, right? Seasonality-wise, it gets a little bit better in March, right? So if you look at, the SPY for April, when you look at SPY seasonality-wise, it's about a 2.29% in the green. IWM, it's about 1.63. QQQ is about 2.46. So we have a little bit of green to look forward to when it comes to April, and the seasonality of April looks a little bit better. Hopefully, as we get through these tariffs, hopefully we can see a little bit of green. The market starts to digest the information. We start to get a little bit of clarity and maybe a little less yo-yoing up and down. So that's where we're sitting as of right now. We're just going to continue to wheel in, wheel out. We're going to continue to collect rent on our shares, and we're going to continue to stack our shares. If I can get QQQ at these levels, I'm going to keep buying it. If I can get QQQ at 450, I'm going to buy it. If I get it down to 420, I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to keep buying it no matter what. Like I said, I can't touch this money for another 40 years. So today's price, tomorrow's price, I'm not too worried about it. What I'm worried about is how much income can I generate off of my shares, and how many shares of QQQ and other companies that I want to buy long-term can I continue to stack. So that's the update for this week. Hopefully everybody's staying strong. I know the market's rough. Everything's pulling back. It's not fun to lose money on paper, but just remember, you don't lose the money until you sell the shares, and it's a long game. So we have a long time for the market to bounce back. But appreciate everybody as always. Don't forget to drop a like, and happy investing. We'll catch you.